it's me, Paris. I know that I have been gone for a long time. And I appreciate everybody who stuck around. I appreciate everybody who asked me how I've been doing. I really, really appreciate it. My schedule is very busy, very hectic. I work full-time. I'm in school full-time. I'm in school to get my master's degree. Yay, me. So my schedule is very busy, but I am trying to get back on a schedule and start back posting and getting back on a routine. So be patient with me during this transition. I still have another year of school until I graduate, but I am trying to work on getting YouTube back into my life. I know it's been a very long time and I went through a lot to get to this point, and I do appreciate everybody who's been patient, who's been sticking with me, who's been showing me the love. I do have a story time video to explain. One of the last videos I did, I talked about I manifested the man of my dreams, and so my next story time is how my African dream turned into my worst nightmare. That relationship took me through so many ups and downs. Oh Jesus. That was a lot. That relationship was a lot. So yes, I did end up getting married. I did end up getting a divorce, and that was it? Yeah, it was the worst. That was one of the worst relationships that I've ever been in. And it was unfortunate because in the beginning I was so happy and so excited and wanted to be in the relationship, and was fed a lot of lies, fed a lot of promises that did not happen. So that was not a good relationship for me. It was not good for my mental health at all. So yeah, so I'm glad that I'm no longer a part of that, and I'm ready and I'm happy to be looking forward to my future. Okay, so let me tell y'all the story of how I met this man. Okay, so we met on Facebook, and I don't have a type, but I will say that I do like dark-skinned men, and I do like tall guys. I like guys who are over 6 feet. So he was tall. Yeah, he was good. He was a good length. Not length, height. He was good height. I don't remember exactly. And he was dark-skinned, but he had dreadlocks, and I had never dated a guy who had dreadlocks before. I like normally like a clean cut type of, like waves type of hairstyles. And so he had dreads. But the funny thing is, right before we met, I had a dream about a guy who had dreads, and it was a guy who had dreads, and he was at my house. And so in my head, I was like, oh, this is a sign, you know. And then also I remember in one of my previous videos, I talked about love bombing, because I was like, well, hopefully this isn't love bombing. He was really, really sweet, really, really genuine. He made it seem like he was interested in the same things that I was interested in, like interested in traveling, interested in family, want those same things, like want to be in a long-term relationship, want to be in a marriage. So I'm not about to talk negatively about Africans, because I do like Africans. I've dated several Africans. So this is not the purpose of that video. This is about him as a person and as an individual. So my thing, what I have learned is it depends on the person's intentions. And he did not come into the relationship with good intentions. So that is why our relationship went downhill fast, because I'm the type of person, I like to communicate, I like to talk, I like to have fun, I like to go out with family. You know, I like to do all of these things, and I make it known and clear that I like to do all of these things. So everything that we did or wanted was already known. We already discussed all of these things. So the issue is, once we got married, everything changed. It went down completely. It was a complete 360 or 180, however people like to say it. So once we got married, everything changed. And I knew early in, this shit ain't about to work. But we were living together at the time. We had signed a lease, and I just couldn't, I was trying to, like, I was trying to make it work. I tried to make it work for a very long time. So anyways, especially because of the lease, and it would have been expensive to break the lease and all of those things. So I did try to make it work. So in fact, I ended up leaving 1 month prior to the lease ending. And and then also during this time, he left to go to Africa, because at first, the reason why I left instead of him leaving is because he told me he wasn't leaving, because he thought that, you know, the house would be a way to keep me there. And I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I contacted the leasing company and let them know, and I ended up moving into another one of their properties by myself. So I actually didn't get the financial repercussions that he tried to have me get, because I explained the situations to them, like, you know, I'm moving out, this lease is over with, he said he's staying, so y'all need to communicate with them, because this ain't got shit to do with me at this point. So he refused to leave the house, but he also refused to pay the rent. So I did pay the rent. I'm gonna just do the time frame because it's too much to try to keep up with this bullshit. So anyway, the lease was ended in December, and I moved out in November. And so I let them know, you know, everything, and like, you know, and they knew that I had already signed a new lease. However, like I said, he had left to go to Africa, and he stopped communicating. So I didn't know where he was at. I didn't know if he's in Africa, he in Timbuktu. I don't know if he's at the zoo. I don't know where this man was at because he stopped communicating with me. So I don't know. And I was telling them that, like, you know, y'all gonna have to figure this out. I moved out. I don't know what to tell you at this point. So that was one issue. But also during this time, I was trying to file a divorce. And so I had a lawyer, and we're trying to reach out to him, and he just being very evasive, very elusive about where he at. So we wouldn't be able to get the divorce granted if he didn't show up or if he didn't respond. But of course, that's not how that works. So the divorce was granted. I moved out, and I moved on with my life. And that was the best thing for me. During the relationship, he was emotionally cold. He didn't communicate well, and English was not his first language. I said previously that he spoke French, and that was one of the things that I really liked. That was like a selling feature, because I love Paris and I want to go to Paris, and I'm like, oh, if I go to Paris, I won't have to get a translator. I'll have a translator with me. And that's actually one of the things that he tried to use against me towards the end to keep me from leaving, because he was like, I promised you that I was going to take you to Paris. I was like, sir, I don't want to go nowhere with you. I don't want to go across the street with you. So that is null and void. So he did try to use that. He tried to use my dogs against me. Oh, okay. And before that, yeah, I'm still sad about it a little bit. I had a different dog, and I actually got rid of my dog. So I was with him for 2 years, maybe a little bit longer. I don't know. I stopped doing the math because so we met. When did we meet? I don't remember, but maybe, no, I don't think it was Thanksgiving, because it would have had to, maybe it was around Thanksgiving. I don't remember. But anyways, I ended up giving my dog away on Christmas Eve the following year, because we had moved in together by that time. And he didn't like my dog, and he would just like make the dog sit in the room all day. And I just was like, okay, hopefully somebody else can give him the love that he deserves. And I'm still sad about that, because he made me get rid of my dog. I have 2 dogs now. I have 2 small dogs. But anyway, and that's another thing that he tried to use to get me back, because he was like, oh, I miss your dog. So my dog's names are Sir and King. And he was like, and at the time I only had 1, because he said I couldn't. So now I have 2, because I can do what I want to do. So he was like, I miss Sir, and send me a picture of Sir. All of these are like manipulation tactics that he would use to just try to rope me back in, that I stop responding to him, because I was like, you didn't like him when we were living together. And I remember one time was going out of town, and I was like, can you watch my dogs for the weekend? And he told me no. Like, basically, he never did anything to show that we were in a relationship. Like, we didn't talk a lot, we didn't go on dates a lot unless I initiated them. We weren't affectionate, he wasn't affectionate unless I initiated it. He didn't like my family. He never went home to meet my family. My family only lives 2 hours away. He never made the effort to go. He always worked, which is not a bad thing, but I think he was using work as an excuse so that he don't have to engage or try to learn me. Like, how do you want to be in a relationship with somebody and you don't know nothing about them? You don't know their likes, their dislikes. Like, you know nothing about them other than he thought that going to work and paying the bills was okay. And I'm like, I don't want a relationship. I felt like I had a roommate. I was like, this don't feel like a relationship. This don't feel like a marriage. This don't feel like a partnership. And then not only on top of that, anytime when I would try to talk to you, it's always a problem. And he'd be like, oh, it's always a problem. It's not. It's called, let's have a conversation. Let's see how we can resolve it before it turns into a problem. So everything turned into a big problem because he never communicated. He always refused to communicate. I don't want this video to be like super, super heavy, and I'm trying to come up with comedy in it, but it's really not funny. It's really sad. Like, the whole situation was really sad. I really felt sad, alone, and depressed the whole time when I was with him. Yeah, it was a hard time in my life. So I don't know what else to say. It's a lot to say, but I don't know what else to say. Oh yeah, my birthdays. I remember one year for my birthday, we got into an argument. Oh, that's another thing. We argue all the time over everything. We got into an argument because we were going to a fancy restaurant and I wanted him to dress up. And he did not want to dress up. He liked to wear athletic clothes and tennis shoes all the time. And I was like, this is a nice restaurant. Can we get dressed up, take pictures, be cute? No. So I started crying. And so I don't even remember, but I remember like going to dinner mad. And that's my thing all the time. I would always be mad. And I wasn't really mad. I think I was more sad, and it was coming across as mad. I remember me before him, and I miss her because it's not the same me. And I pause and I hesitate because I'd be like, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? What if everybody's wrong? I just don't feel like everybody's wrong. And I know how I feel, you know? And I feel like this should be the happiest time of my life, and it's not. This has been one of the most saddest times of my life. This relationship monopolizes my whole entire life. My mood is like this. And it's like, is it worth it? Is it worth it? You should be happy, and you deserve happiness, and you deserve peace, and you deserve joy. You deserve to feel comfortable, and you deserve to feel desired in a relationship. And I know all of these things, and it's like, why am I not giving myself these things or demanding that I have these things in a relationship? Because it's not just about one person. And every time that I see somebody in a relationship, I shouldn't get sad. I get sad because I know that I don't have that. I don't have that. And I feel like love is one-sided, and I don't ever want this type of love again. Ever again in life. I don't want it. I'd rather be single. And it is what it is. Follow me on social media. I am way more active on my Instagram page. But I also have Twitter as well. You can click the link tree. It'll take you directly to all of my links. And have a good one. Bye.